Everybody, and welcome to another Saturday night edition of LFC Transfer Rooms live Saturday night stream. It's going to be an emotional one tonight, I fear. It's our last preview where Jurgen Klopp is obviously going to lead out the Reds at Anfield for the final time tomorrow. So we have got tissues on standby, and we obviously will be looking to talk all things Liverpool. Elsie's going to bed now. Say goodnight, Elsie. See you later, everyone. Bye. She's not in her Liverpool strip tonight. She's just in her pajamas. So I apologise for that. Kev, how are you, buddy? You okay?
I am superb, mate. Looking forward to tomorrow. So see what happens. But yeah, I'm in good spirits, to be honest. So all good.
Yeah, good. And I see that obviously we've been talking on the WhatsApp. You've been staying away from all the Jurgen Klopp propaganda.
I've tried to, but then I got emotionally attached to one this afternoon that was done by Brian Reed's son Phil, and it just got me hook, line, and sinker. So if you go on the LFC one, it's amazing what they've done. It's great, but I'm trying to stay away from it as much as I can if I can. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I did last night, and I saw a couple of videos, and there was one I put in the group chat, and the version of "You'll Never Walk Alone," I think it's sung by some choir children. Like, it was phenomenal. And I was more actually like I was bawling my eyes out, but I was like, wow, what version is this? Because it was insane. It's really, really good version. And then obviously, yeah, the Liverpool one today that came out. Yeah, Bleacher Report did a good one too. Bleacher Report did a nice little cartoon. That was a good one, Jurgen. That was a good one too.
There's also one on Instagram from Jurgen Klopp himself, who's now up to 1 million followers already. Mentioning his final training sessions being done and everything's packed in his office. So the club need to stop this, and Jurgen does, because he's going to send everyone overboard.
I know. I was literally was trying to stay away, and and that's why, because I was just it's just going to be a bag of emotions tomorrow. Hassan, how are you? It's the second time that you have joined us on stream on the Saturday Night Club. How are you, and how are you feeling about tomorrow, I suppose?
Yeah, I'm usually on Friday, but I couldn't miss this one because of Jurgen. Today, whole day I was spent up watching videos on YouTube, and as you mentioned, the one with LFC done is amazing. It start off slow and it builds up really nicely. Bleacher one was the one which we can relate to the most, as it's the whole journey. 9 years, it's a long time of our lives, and he has given us so much. It's a roller coaster. I remember when we were linked to him, I stayed 2 3 nights catching all the news, what will happen, and finally when he was announced, I was over the moon, because he was the one I wanted the most. uh, it was a dream come true, and he made our dreams uh, realized, made us believers. uh, it was a really, really nice journey. I am dead too scared what will happen next.
Listen, I think that's what everyone's feeling. We'll get on to Arne Slot at the minute, in a while, because obviously he confirmed it himself, and there's been a little bit of a backlash. We'll dive all into that as well. But I suppose we better had talk, before we talk about Slot, before we talk about Klopp. I suppose we better had talk, about the Wolverhampton game, because there is actually a match tomorrow going on at Anfield. It's not all about Jurgen Klopp's farewell, although there's not really too much to play for. That third spot is sealed, and I think at the start of the season we would have taken that with both hands, wouldn't we, Kev? A Carabao Cup victory aside, I think the aim last season, after the horrendous form of the season beforehand, we would have taken top four all day, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. There's no hiding the fact that we were in a title race. We shouldn't hide away from that, or use it as an excuse of hiding behind the start of the season. You look at where we were at the start of the season, we were still looking for the midfield. We were scratching our heads as to what an Endo was. How's McAllister going to be playing? Is he going to be in a 6, which he started off in? But how we started the league, it represented and as the league went on, it represented where our failings were, conceding too many goals, going 4-1-0 down early on in games. You're always playing catch up, and eventually it's going to catch up to you. Now, whether we liked it or not, we were in a title race, and there's two games that come to mind: the United and then the Palace game, in which we looked really fell off cliff. And then the Everton one as well was just the cherry on the cake for our neighbours. So it's up until then, realistically, it would have been nice to sign them off with the league. But having said that, though, the way we were at the start of the season, I would have ripped your hand off for a Champions League spot and a cup as well as the Domestic Cup. And the way we achieved and accomplished the Carabao Cup with the kids is just phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? It just says a lot for the journey we've been on with Jurgen. It's not just the starting 11, it's also being the academy players as well who've come through. And I think we all agree that it hasn't ended the way we wanted to, but sadly there is a game tomorrow. Whether anyone's going to be bothered about the game or what happens in the game, I don't know. But it's our last game, so we just got to give our all and hopefully we come away with 3 points. And the VR decisions that go against Wolves continue tomorrow. But then you look who's on VAR, and it's David Coots. So you couldn't write it up as the perfect person to be in Jurgen's last game. It's same Simon Hooper isn't there as well, just
yes,
to give him. Whoops! I think Richie has gone. While we wait for Richie, what your feelings, Hassan? What did you think at the start of the season? Did you were those elements there for you as well, or?
Yeah, same with you. It was a rebuilding stage. So many revamp, new players coming in. It was surprising that we went so far, and we had a chance. We should not deny it. We were in two quarterfinals as well. Uh, it was a as in hindsight, if we will look at it, will be a successful season because of all the changes coming in. Uh, but as you said, this season our drawback was conceding early goals and chasing the game. If we played after conceding the whole season really rampant and taking our chances, we would have won the league. And saying that, I would have been really, really optimistic. I would be 100% sure if Jurgen will be in the next season, we would have won the league because he would have now figured out the weaknesses in our team. He would have addressed it. And it's always like this: he takes one season, and after this season, maybe league or Champions League, we would have won.
Exactly, and it's as the season went on. Did did you feel that the Carabao Cup was the highlight, was the main highlights of the season? Is there any highlights within the game that you within the season that you take away?
Yeah, it was really nice, and the way did it, we almost had no chance. It was good that we got Chelsea in the final, who are also in the rebuilding stage. They have not figured it out now how their team will be better in next season. So it was a good chance, and the way the young players. Got on and uh, take the opportunity with both hands. It was really nice. We uh, with all the changings, still I think two quarterfinals, one domestic cup, and the third place finish is good season.
Sound. Richie's back now, I hope.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. It was a Simon Hooper chat. As soon as you mentioned Simon Hooper, all power went down. You know, I was so glad. And do you know what? I don't know about you guys. Like, in the last game, I think it was Harvey Elliott who he booked, but because he kicked the ball away, so he obviously booked him for dissent. But Klopp was shouting something, and then he saw a yellow card come out, and I thought, no way, like no way has he booked him. And my heart sunk, and then they went, oh, and Harvey Elliott's got a booking for dissent. I thought, oh, thank you, Harvey Elliott. God, my heart was in my mouth then. Imagine that. But yeah, you know, you couldn't write it. Going back to what you were saying. So I mean, you know, we are going to be missing a couple of players tomorrow who have already made their last appearance in a Liverpool shirt as well. You know, John said thoughts on Matip and Thiago leaving. Joel was a great servant. Thiago was such a disappointment with his injuries. He was fantastic when he was fit. I think that's true. Like, I generally haven't seen in a Liverpool shirt someone as technically gifted as Thiago Alcantara. And you know, to see just how much or how little, I suppose, he played, but just see how many injuries. There's not a Liverpool player who I actually did want to see play more. And we didn't. I mean, Kev, like Thiago's leaving. He made a nice little post as well. Just how much of a great player he was, and therefore how much was a disappointment, I suppose.
I think this season, out of all the 4 he's been with us, is probably the biggest one. Is that we've missed him in certain games this season. His game management, and I think Klopp calls on this at the, in his press conference. It would have been nice to be in a parallel world where you see Thiago injury free, because oh my word, you've got some player on your hands. I'm fortunate. I sit there every week and in my season ticket, and he does things that I've seen, and I have to take a second look at, because there's no way the way he plays the ball can get through, or the way he manages a game. It's one of the he's one of the best at doing it. It's sadly though, his injuries are his plight, and there'll be many reasons for that, and people will have their own opinions on it. For me, I think there's times where we played him when we didn't need to play him. I think he has been a bit of a luxury player, if we're totally honest, because he's not a Klopp type of player. He even says after his first season, he turns around and goes, "I've learned how to run." And that says a lot to me, that he's doing things differently than what he was. There's times where our main 11 were injured, and he's having to step up and play in certain games and act as in roles that we shouldn't necessarily be seeing him play. He should be coming on and in a Milner way, but with more quality. And I don't mean any disrespect to Milner, but his game management is probably one of the best I've seen around. He takes hold of the game and takes it with him, and it's phenomenal. As for Joel Matip, oh my God, he's like a Hanson coming out with the ball. I know a lot of people have heart attacks when he's doing those runs, but I love it myself. To have that kind of composure, although he doesn't look it at times, he is absolutely phenomenal. And there's one goal where he plays out to the right and gets it back and does a 1-2 and scores. He was very good against low block teams. His element of surprise of doing that meant that they had to come out of their block, which created gaps and holes for our players, our creative players, to get into, and then that opens up the midfield. So there was elements of what Matip done that people didn't like, but it opened up avenues for us to take hold of, and we've missed that again this season. It's sad when he got his injury, and sadly for me, we won't get to see him play. Thiago, as I quoted yesterday, dislocated his finger right in his goodbye speech, I think. But I sent heart attacks down the WhatsApp group yesterday with that. But it's sadly that's what has come with Thiago. Matip, I can't think of anyone who he looks a humorous guy. He looks dead. He's one of the lads that you just love to be around all the time. And also Thiago, I think Thiago will be great as well, because he'll be a great wingman in the clubs with you as well. So,
I mean, with Joel Matip, you mentioned Kev, those runs. Like, he's a player who aesthetically, when you look at him, should not be able to make those runs. You know, and even when he is doing it, you're like, he still doesn't even look comfortable, does he? But
No.
he's one of the best dribblers in the club.
He is, but that was always what he had. He brought that with him from the German game, and people were kind of hesitant of him doing that. Don't get me wrong, there are times where you can get caught with that, and then the counter's on. But there was times where it was needed. It needed someone else to come out and do that, and to have the bravery to do that from a centre half position. There's times where Virgil said that he'd love to be able to do stuff that Matip does, because that's something in Virgil's game that you'd expect would be in his game, but it's not. It's mad, isn't it? It's just, you know, and that's why it works so well with Matip playing in alongside him. They had different skills. You had Virgil, who can play the long ball over the top, but you also had at times Matip with his crazy little loony runs as well.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. The best centre back pairing under Klopp is, you know, 100% Matip and Van Dijk for me. You know, phenomenal. Hassan, what is it that, I suppose, not that's gone wrong for Thiago, because we always knew, let's be honest, when we bought him, we knew that he was prone to injury, and he was a Rolls-Royce player. You know, there was a reason, I think, why he didn't come in and everyone automatically assumed he was going to start, because we know what his injury record was like, and we know that he played a different game at Bayern and at Barca. But Hassan, I mean, what are your thoughts on Thiago Alcantara, and what do you think's next for him as well?
Yeah, I loved him. When we were linked to him, I think it was just a rumor, because we don't sign players of that age. But when it was signed, I was astonished, and I was over the moon, because I saw the final. He was the man of the match in Champions League. He controlled the game, as Kev have said, that his game management skills are to die for, and the way he controls it, and he cannot. He is really resistant to press. You cannot get the ball off him. So if we had managed him a little bit better, but he came in, I think he was 28 when he came in. With age and his previous record, it could have gone both ways. It was a gamble. Sadly, the gamble didn't pay off as much as we would have liked. But it's really nice to see a player of his caliber to play for us. Uh, he was really nice. And for Matip, what a great guy, and what a great defender. You guys must know, he's in our folklore forever. He assisted Origi for the Champions League goal. Um who would have thought that our defender and when Van Dijk and he was starting, our defense looked like we were invincible. So it's really sad to see those players which you loved for so much, for so long, they are going. Uh, yeah, I'll miss them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big transition, and I'm quite excited, actually. You know, after tomorrow, and after the farewell that Klopp richly deserves, and the likes of Matip and Thiago, I will be quite interested to see who else follows. You know, out of the
Adrian.
door, because Adrian's already said, hasn't he, that he would like to go back to Spain. And again, you know, a great servant to the club. I know that he's, you know, had his critics, which again is absolutely fine. But let's not forget, it was the Super Cup, wasn't it? The Super Cup, his heroics in the Super Cup. Again, all of these players, you know, they've all played such a big role under Jurgen Klopp, and I could see more people going out the door, I suppose, especially with the likes of Edwards and Ward coming back, and a new manager, transition, etc., etc. So it's going to be, an interesting summer. But tomorrow, team news wise, I think we can expect there to be not too many surprises tomorrow. I think we know who's out and who's available. The only doubt really is Andy Robertson. who obviously took a bit of a knock, didn't he? But FPL says 75% chance likely that he's going to play. But if not, can we see perhaps either Robertson playing, or is it a final farewell, Kev, for your mate, the Greek Scouser, Kostas Tsimikas?
Do you know what? It's the last game. Nothing's riding on it. It doesn't matter if we win, lose, or draw tomorrow. Obviously, we all want to win. I'd be playing Kostas tomorrow. I hope it is his last game for Liverpool. I think it's great what he's done in the Carabao Cup. His assist. Without that, we don't win a cup this season, and I get that. But yeah, I don't know. I think someone's just put in the comments there about nostalgic. I'm not usually one for nostalgic. I'm one usually for playing your strongest 11. But I think tomorrow, the way the game sets, I don't think anyone's willing to watch a game of football tomorrow. I think we're just waiting for that hour afterwards and our time with Klopp personally. So for me, I give him his time, get him on the pitch, and let's see. It'd be nice to see him get an assist tomorrow, and then he signs off well. But going back to what you said before, Richie, I quite agree. I think everyone who will be leaving, or anyone who's in the squad, has had an element, and I've had their moments under Klopp. Even Oxlade-Chamberlain in the Man City game in the UEFA Cup. People who've left and even under Klopp, they've all got a moment. They've had an element, and they've added to this journey that we've been on. So I totally agree with that. Costas himself, scored the winning FA Cup winning goal and got the assist in the other domestic. So credit to him. Let him play tomorrow. There's nothing on it, so I'm not expecting anything tomorrow. And we just go out and have a fun time. If you turn up tomorrow, Richie, possibly you could be playing after your marathon, mate.
I've not got it in me. My legs still haven't recovered, I don't think. So I would not be getting pressing like Jurgen would be asking me to. Maybe I could stay in goal. I could just stand in goal back, maybe. But I still reckon Ali does a few K every match. So yeah, maybe not. I want to say a big thank you to Jen, who sent us a $4.99 super sticker. Thank you, Jen, for all of your generosity. And for all of the comments as well, and for everybody's comments. I am trying to bring up as many as possible. I will get there. All right. So yeah, thank you. I mean, God, the good one says pretty much what Kev said. Get the kids out tomorrow. Why not? I think tomorrow would be brilliant if we could just have unlimited subs and just get as many players on that pitch as possible. Proper rolling subs mode as well. Hassan, who are you excited to see then play tomorrow? Who do you think is going to bring their A game for Jurgen's final farewell?
Yeah, hopefully Salah scores and gives him a hug after the two had their moment. Maybe Gomez finally scores and we all go crazy. I hope it's a game we make memories. I really hope it's not the game like last game of Gerrard, where we considered 6 goals against Stoke. But I hope, as Kev said, the game is just there. We are more interested in after the game when we will say our goodbyes to our legendary manager.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'd love to see Salah go sick tomorrow. Absolutely, just proper old school Salah. And yeah, a hug would be nice after the very public display of disaffection, shall we say, as we've seen before. I mean, listen, it's quite funny actually that Paul brings this up about Joe Gomez postage stamp curler tomorrow, because Kev and I are in complete agreement on this, that even if we're 5, 6, 7, 8-0 up, I would not have Joe Gomez taking a penalty. I'd still stick with what we've got. There's no room for sentiment in football. And whilst it'll be lovely, I don't understand everyone's obsession. And maybe just because I'm being cruel and cold-hearted, I don't care if Joe Gomez has never scored. I just generally don't. And it's probably an unpopular opinion. but it's not the end of the world if Joe Gomez goes his whole Liverpool career and doesn't score a goal. If anything, I think that makes him even more famous. Kev, are you still sticking with that? Are you still sticking with Gomez, no penalty? Yeah,
absolutely. I will be annoyed if that's the case, and I think Salah would be as well, especially if he's already scored at hat-trick. He wants to get as many accomplishments himself. He's a greedy man, and there's no way you're getting that ball off him. And I totally agree. Sentiment goes out the window. I know what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to be annoyed about it, but as soon as Gomez gets the ball anywhere near their goal, we are going to hear the elements of shoot all the time. It knocks me sick. Sometimes I think people need to look at when they're shouting that, because sometimes there's about 3 or 4 players around them. There's no need for them to shoot anyway. So it's just it's annoying. It's soul destroying. Eventually, he may get his opportunity. Rob Jones got his opportunities, but he sadly missed his. He won't be the only defender never to score for Liverpool. He'll be joining some greats that have actually played for us down the years. So it's not the be all and end all. I get why we won it. He is a cultured legend of the club. In the season we win the league, him and Virgil set the highest centre-back total for Liverpool at 2.25 or 2.5 points a game. It was great. And, his injuries, I get all that. But at the end of the day, I do not care if he scores or not. If that penalty's there, it's a bit like half-time. Those when they're taking penalty against Mighty Red, I don't like them. It should be an actual goalkeeper in, and a goalkeeper making an opportunity to save it. It means more when you score then. So you can imagine what my kids are like in my house. But no, for me, sentiment goes out the window. You have to. It has to be Salah for me if he's on the pitch. If not, it goes to the next one.
Yeah, McAllister, he's been slotting him left, right, and centre, isn't he? So, when Salah did step up for the previous penalty, I was like, no, let Mac take it. He's been smashing him in. So, and again, I'm the same. I agree. He has lots of chances at set pieces to score. If anything, give it to Raheem Kelleher, who can bang a pen as well. We've seen him do it before. Like he doesn't have that opportunity. So, it is what it is. I love Joe Gomez. I think that he should definitely be going to the Euros this summer. If he's not, then again, it's just a Southgate move. But go on, Hassan.
But I think Jurgen is sentimental. I think you guys are like you guys are like Salah, really game facer. But I think sentiments would take over tomorrow if there's a chance. But I don't think there will be anything. It will be a great story for us to discuss in the future. But let's see what happens.
It will do, but listen, we tried to do this with Peter Crouch, who when he signed for Liverpool went 15 games without a goal, and we gave him the penalty and he missed. So again, it could very well happen. And if that's the case, and I'm Joe Gomez, I'm just taking my top off and walking straight off that pitch if that is probably the case. Let's talk then about Arne Slot, because I do want to save Klopp until the end. Not just to tease the viewers and bits like that, but we have to save Klopp to the end because he is the special one. He is what tonight really is all about. Arne Slot caused a bit of controversy actually, and again, maybe just because I'm a bit heartless, I didn't really care. Like, I didn't care that he announced he was going to be the next Liverpool manager, because the Feyenoord fans deserve to know. They're in limbo as well. No one has said anything from Liverpool side or Feyenoord's, and I think actually the best person to say that he is leaving and he is joining Liverpool is the man himself. And they can now say farewell to him too. So I think I had no issues whatsoever. I know that some people did on social media and elsewhere with him announcing that rather than it be Liverpool or Feyenoord. But for me, it's a time where, if I'm honest, and obviously I always am, but if I'm honest, I haven't got the same excitement when Jurgen came in. But I think that's because you're never going to have a Jurgen coming in again. Everyone knew what Jurgen Klopp was about. He did it at Mainz. He did it at Dortmund. And the jury's out, I suppose, for Arne Slot. I like what he seems to have done for Feyenoord. I like the systems that he plays, and I like the fact he brings in youth and trusts the academy players. I think in a market where there's not that many great managers out there who are available, I am quite excited about Arne coming in. Kev, what are your thoughts?
I'll be honest, I totally agree with you. Up until he was linked with the job, I only relatively heard about him when he was linked with the Chelsea job and with another job in England as well. Maybe someone can help me out with that. Spurs it was, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, Spurs before Ranch.
Yeah. So that was my only opportunity of understanding who he was. I don't usually get involved as much as what I used to when it comes to transfers and stuff like that. So I kind of kept myself away from him. But what I've seen of him, he's a character. And I'll be honest, if you're coming in after Klopp, it's big feat to fill. It's the biggest job that hardly anyone would want to take after Jurgen. So he's damned what he does beforehand and damned if he isn't with some fans. Some fans would prefer him to be quiet, but then you'll then get the other side will go, well, he doesn't sound confident in his role here. So there's opposites to that. I don't mind it. I don't mind that he is actually looking forward to this. I think we all need a refresh, if we're honest. It's sad in a way that Jurgen's going, but I think we do need to be re-energized. And I think you can see him through the course of this season, how much the club has affected Jurgen, especially this season as well, how much it's taken out of him. Now, whether that's down to age, whether that's down to anything else, but the job itself is a arduous job anyway. So for me, we all need to be re-energized. We've got a manager who's coming in who looks... he's got the character that Eric Sevenhage hasn't even got. He's got a personality. There's something about him that I look at and I think he fits in well here. I think, it's based on what Edwards, and it's close to what we've currently got. So the flexibility and adaptability to play under Slot is not going to be that much too far away from what we're playing at the minute. I'm excited at that. I'm excited at what the new season brings. Yet this week was all about Klopp and having respect, but at the same time, his season's coming to the end with Feyenoord, and as you quite rightly say, he has to let them know. He has let them know, and he has informed them that, I am the big bollocks at Liverpool for next season. Here I am. And I quite like that. Now, some may not like that, especially in this week, but again, I'm not one for sentiments. It's one about, well, I want to get this job done. I'm eager to start, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and like I say, he owes it to the Feyenoord fans too. For me, I think he owes those fans an explanation in terms of like, look, I am leaving. This is going to be one of my last games. Like, goodbye and thank you for everything. We've been for months saying goodbye to Jurgen Klopp, and if they didn't have that closure before his final game, then he wouldn't have got a farewell either. So I think I agree. I don't understand what all of the resentment was about. But it is what it is. And like I say, I agree. We did need a bit of a refresh, and I would do these 8 years all over again under Jurgen Klopp or another new manager, So these 8 years, yes, everyone says that, again, Jurgen should have won more, maybe a couple more league titles, etc., etc. But for me, these past 8 years have been nothing short of sensational. Hassan, what are you expecting? What have you done any research on Slot? What are you expecting for him when he comes in before we go on to talk about Jurgen himself?
Yeah, as you mentioned, that the excitement is not comparable when Jurgen was coming in. Maybe it would be a bit similar if Javi was coming in the way he has performed. He's a club legend. Maybe there must have been more excitement. But I really like him. As soon as he was linked, he made up his mind. He didn't play games like Ruben. He didn't wanted to milk linking himself to a big club. As soon as we said that we are interested, he was all in with his all interviews and everything. He didn't deny it. Uh, he and I think it was the right time for him to say that, yeah, I am going there, and he will also say the goodbyes to their fans. He has achieved really impressive things with Feyenoord, winning the league with them after a long time. He was almost winning with AZ Alkmaar also. He was level on points, but COVID ruined that season for him. This season, they have been really good. They have won their cup also, but PSV has been out of this world. They are really in form. That's why they are second. He reached the final of Conference League, where he managed to face the cup finals specialist in Mourinho. So it's uh, really I think it's a blessing in disguise also that manager is coming in who we are not 100% sure, so we can judge him accordingly. If Alonso was coming in, even he would have not a great start. We would have been giving him time. So with him coming in, we would analyze him with open heart and with no much so much baggage of the past.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned about the cup runs and as well. He's got that experience of winning trophies, and I think that's so important when it comes to managers. And he has that winning mentality there too as well. Let's get our tissues out then, because let's talk about Jurgen Klopp, because we have to. Okay, and we've all been trying to avoid the propaganda and the quite right, heartfelt messages to Jurgen, but we are going to have to do a few now. Okay, so everyone, do feel free. There's over 1,400 of you right now listening to us, so thank you so much.
Way.
And if you haven't given us a like and a subscribe, please do so. Yeah, 1,427 people viewing us. So please do send your odes to Jurgen in as well in the comments, and we'll bring up as many as possible as well. Kev, you can go first. You've seen like hundreds of managers, haven't you? In your lifetime. Listen, 37 minutes I waited. 37 minutes I waited to make to be ageist. 37 minutes. So you can go first in terms of like what has Jurgen Klopp, if you can put it into words, and words won't obviously do it justice, but what's he done to this football club, and what does he mean?
I've been trying, and I think many people better than me have been trying to sum up, and are going to be writing things in the next couple of weeks or so, and the months after. I don't think I can sum it up, but the way I can to say it is, at the start of his journey, you had the man that came in, and we were similar to what Man United were at the minute. A few games, and we look good against decent sides, but are very inconsistent and lacking. But behind the mirrors of our love for our clubs, you don't see, or you're not as critical of it until you've gone through what we've just gone through in the last 9 years with Jurgen. He's come into a club and has re-energized the club and the city and it's a great analogy for kids who are on the course and keep getting hit down all the time, or punched, or kidneys by, you're not good enough, you'll never do this. And that never give up attitude, that no matter what life throws at you, you can achieve and accomplish everything if you are true to yourself and put the work in and share it with people that are around you that mean the world to you. And I think that's probably the best way I could sum him up. And and that's why it's re-energized the club. It's re-energized the fans, and it's unified the club to what our ethos was when Shankly was in charge. Sadly, I wasn't around when that, but this is our generation's equivalent of that, and that goes without question of how I see him. And I think there's no bigger tribute you can give to a man who's come into a club and has been true to himself, true to the way he is, and that's why it means so much in what he's won. Yeah, to others outside, it is not enough, but there's no one person that's fitted this club as much as what Jurgen has in the last 9 years at this club, and it's sad. People will say it's sad. Don't think it's sad. Happy, smile that it happened. That's the best way to sum it up for me.
Yeah, and you know, beautifully said as well. I think it's so important that just to look back for me, you know, I'll go to Hassan before I start, but you know, for me that one Premier League title in 8 years it is worth 8. You know, after 30 years and after such a long wait, and it's Jurgen who's brought it home, and again, just that one in 8 is enough for me. And you can look from the outside and you can look at the 115 charges to Manchester City because that's all he's missed out on, really. You know, when we was actually competing, it was always against Manchester City. So for me, you know, just that one in 8, you know, is worth 8. Hassan, let's talk about Klopp, the German Scouser, as Tanya says as well, forever a legend who served the fans' expectations and took us to places we dreamed of, forever grateful. I think Tanya's words there are phenomenal too. But Hassan, I mean, Jurgen Klopp, to you, if you can, try and sum it up.
Yeah, I think I'm not lucky like you guys who can go and watch the matches. I'm far away. I'm in Pakistan. I've never been to Anfield. This is my always. It has been a dream. I started off supporting Liverpool because of Gerrard and Owen. Uh, Here, the matches were not telecasted. It was international games, but I used to watch a lot of international games. And in the England team, I loved Gerrard. He was my favorite player. So I uh, found out which club he plays for, and I watched one game at live on TV, and I knew this was my team. I saw the cop, the flags, and everything. I knew that I will, and luckily the matches started coming on the TV. Um, it was a really hard journey at the start because we were nowhere. I knew that it's a big club. We have won so much before, but at that time, when I really it was first season of Rafa, and we were not good enough. Still, we won the Champions League. I knew club was special, but we were always. I knew so many fans of other teams. United was winning all the things. Chelsea was winning, and they used to make fun of us. So less Liverpool's fans over here. I was one of them, a really big one. I supported them, but when uh, and people don't know how lucky we are to get him. Before him, we were almost at the brink of administration. It was really dire times to be at that spot and where we are now. It's As the comment said, what dreams are of. Uh, as I mentioned earlier, as soon as Klopp was linked with us, I didn't sleep a bit. I was scrolling Twitter, Sky News, and every news that hopefully it's true. Uh, uh, the way he said that he will sign, I was over the moon. And before that, the excitement of him signing it, and as soon as he signed in, I was again waiting for him to come. And his first press conference, still 8.5 years ago, I cannot forget it. I remember all the words he said. And the aura with which he came in, the confidence. He said that we will win. It really resonated, uh, and there are some people when they say things you associated with that he is right, he will do it, and he proved everyone what he can do. Um, Look, before when Benitez was there, some players were not happy. Brendan, the way he treated Gerrard and Egger and many players, it was discontent. But the greatness of Jurgen Klopp is the way he gelled up the teams. Everyone has to say a good things about him. Every fan has good thing, and even the rivals, they cannot deny his greatness. Even United fans who used to make fun of us, saying that you will miss him. You'll see what hole he will left. But yeah, I think it's uh, really uh, sad day for me personally tomorrow. But as life and as football, things must go on. Uh, After Gerard, I thought I would never love someone as much, but look what Klopp has done. Uh, uh, yeah, I'm out of words now.
What I think I'd like to pick up on is when you said that, he made these players gel together, and a lot of it for me is his personality. I think, you don't, and that's why everybody in the city, outside the city, in different countries around the world love Jurgen Klopp, because it's his personality that enlights that fire, and it's that personality that is the catalyst of everything that Liverpool Football Club has done. And if you're not on the bus like Mohamed Saka wasn't, then you're off it. He does suffer no fools. Perhaps he is overly loyal at times with, some of the decisions that he's made. But at the same time, that's his personality and that's who he is. He is passion. And if you are a rival fan, he is someone who you could say, oh, he's moaning again, etc., etc. He's not. I generally think you look at everything that Jurgen was moaning about players not having enough time off. Now every Tom, Dick and Harry's moaning about it, about not having enough subs. We got 5 subs because everyone then wanted 5 subs. He was described as, saying the referees aren't good enough. Now everyone's saying that the referees aren't good enough, and it's so funny because all of those arguments actually came to become true. And that just shows not only his passion, but it shows his intelligence about the game too. He could see things that other people couldn't. And just because he was the first one to say it, it made him stand out a little bit. But for me, he said, I didn't give the club belief. I didn't tell the fans how to believe, but I allowed them and showed them that they should believe again. And that's what he said he did. He didn't give us belief. He showed us how to believe again. And for me, like, hope is the biggest thing, isn't it? Especially in sport. No matter what team you support. I follow Peterborough United Football Club as well, as Liverpool, and the hope of making the playoffs is still that hope. That's what sport is. That's why it's so beautiful, and that's why sport is so unique. And I do pity anyone who doesn't involve themselves in sport or follow sport, because it is something that's so wildly out of your control, but it's so unique to you, and to make you feel a certain way, and to make you feel an emotion that nothing else could. And that's what Liverpool Football Club and Jurgen Klopp has done over these past 8 years. It's one of those that it's just phenomenal. So for me, Klopp gave the city belief again in a time where we didn't believe, if I'm honest. We had a little stint with Rafa, which was great. We had the Brendan Rodgers season as well, but it was never sustained belief. And Jurgen gave us that. 97 points, 92 points, and still not winning the league. It's insane, you know, to be able to do that.
Averaged 85 points every season he's been during the 9 years he's been with us. It's unparalleled to what he's done, and you know, it goes to what you said. He didn't show us. We stopped believing that we could actually win the league, and I didn't think we'd win it in my time. He's brought that back, and he's brought us on a journey. There's been highs, there's been many lows as well, and there's been finals where we should have won, but it's part of the journey. It's part of what we've had to go through, and he's challenged us to start believing how big this club was. We were, before he came in, we were still using our past as a way of looking forward. Now we look forward, and
Exactly.
that's a hard thing for a manager to do, but to do it with this city shows it all. If you're in this city, you're always up for a fight, and he showed the supporters of this club how to fight again, and how to never give up, and how to achieve those dreams. Dreams without goals will just be dreams, and that's another thing he's brought to us. And it's great in a way that we've actually been on that journey with him. Yes, it's coming to an end, but that doesn't mean to say that we stop believing and we stop fighting. We go through it all again. And danke, Jurgen.
Yeah, as you said, that we were if we look at the team we were competing against, City, with all their charges and all their financial power. If we look, no other manager with these resources, with these players, can bring out these results. He made Salah coming in from Roma. These players were good players, but he made them, Mane, Firmino. He made them world class. They are household names. They are known around the world now. And as Richie said, that before Klopp, as football defines your whole week, what result. Uh, we were pretty miserable before him, but with him coming in, it was always belief. It was winning everything, in with the chance till the last. It make the whole year was made us really passionate and optimist for the future.
Yeah, and that's what Jurgen did. He made us all believe again, and we can go round in circles and say that, but he's, you know, he's something special, and something that I think all of us have been so lucky to have over the past 8 years. I do want to, you know, just say I always like his quotes, because he's such a philosopher as well. Is our Jurgen, but you know, it's so many great quotes, and we could again spend another hour just on Jurgen Klopp quotes. But the one for me is, if you don't limit yourself with bad thoughts, you can fly. And you know, I say that to my students. I'm a teacher, for those who know me, and that's exactly what I say. It's GCSE and A-level season right now, and I repeat that. If you don't limit yourself with bad thoughts, you can fly, because you're not thinking about the bad things that might happen. You're just thinking about the good, and you're just focused on what you can do. And I do believe that this Liverpool team tomorrow, I'm not going to think of any negativity, and I think Wolves might actually get quite a bit of a battering. And I like Wolves as well as a football team. I think that they're great, but I will not really feel that sorry for them tomorrow when we stick 7 or 8 past them. This is the prediction show, so I suppose, the preview show. So we better talk about Wolves just very quickly as we wind down here. Kev, predictions for tomorrow.
Another quote, a quick one. It's not so important.
Please do.
It's not so important what people think when you come in. It's much more important what people think when you leave, and that goes a long way. To tomorrow, I'm expecting a 3-1 win. And Mo to score, and Gomez not to.
Yeah, and no clean sheet, because I do not want us to keep a clean sheet tomorrow, because that's not the Jurgen Klopp way.
True.
Hassan, thoughts on
Yeah.
tomorrow? Score predictions, match predictions. Tanya's got a bold 4-0. I think that's a good prediction, actually, Tanya. I think you probably bang on the money there.
Yeah. First goal to Wolves, then we score 3 goals.
Classic.
and Nunes to equalize, Salah said the second goal, and Gomez for the penalty.
I could see it. I could still see it happening. To be fair, I could see it. And I could just see the camera going on Klopp, and he's going mad. No, Joey. You know, I could see it happening. I'm going to go for a 5-2. I think they're going to go all out.
5-2, Rich. Bloody hell, mate.
Yeah. I think they're going to go all out. Proper gang and pressing, heavy metal football, you know, the way that Jurgen would want to go. And now I've said that, I need to put a couple of quid on, because that might be quite a good bet, actually. So,
You know what I'm going to do,
Yeah.
don't you, Richie? I'm going to put a couple of quid on Joe Gomez scoring tomorrow, I think.
yeah, you've got it 100%. Maybe Gomez
Anytime.
to score and be yellow carded, because you know he's going to surely take his top off when
Yeah,
it
definitely.
comes. Yeah, surely.
And don't blame me afterwards.
And we'll blame Hassan. I'll be sending me bank account details over to you, mate. Okay?
For the 1,700 plus joining us tonight, we've been going for 56 minutes now, and you know it was a match preview show, but we couldn't really preview too much. The biggest thing, obviously, tomorrow is the send off that we give to Jurgen Klopp, and it's going to be emotional. It's going to be fantastic, and it's going to be something that we'll never witness again, most likely, especially with a man called Jurgen. These are the moments we will never forget, and that is actually what life is, collecting as many moments as possible. It's for you. It's an honour to do it for you. They're Jurgen's final words to the fans of Liverpool Football Club. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Kev. Thank you, Hassan. And thank you, everybody, you know, for staying with us. I hope that you have an emotional but an amazing time tomorrow watching this great man finally bow out. And please, as Kev said right at the start, please don't cry too much. Please smile, because there isn't anyone like Jurgen Klopp, and smile for everything that he's done for this football club. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care. God bless. And as always, you'll never walk alone.